Mm. Okay, so next thing is in hive is okay, some UDF and UDTF, two are left. Okay, different file format data. So I start this one, right? How many types of format of data in hive? Like hive can support. Okay, so hive can support like text file format. So text file format we have a different types. Like we have JSON, CSV, XML. So these are the human readable file format which we can read it data directly in the file. Okay, but other than that, some other um, file format also there. Okay. So other file formats are which is other like compressed file format. Okay, the compressed file format category three are there. Okay, ORC, Avro, and Parquet. Okay, so these are the three file format. Okay, so ORC, Avro, Parquet. So what are these file formats? So JSON, CSV, XML. These are plain text file format. So any type of file, right? So we have for these particular three file format, we have different surveys are there. So Hive supports survey. So what is survey? Hive supports survey. SRDE. Survey is serialization, serialization, and it is nothing but to read the file format data, which is not the text file format, right? Which is like a not comma separated file format. Okay, which is a different structure format. Okay, JSON I say it is a key colon value comma format is there. You know that in the JSON. Okay, CSV is we know, right? CSV is like a comma separated file format. So we already read the comma separated file format data. But suppose I have a data double code is there. So like this kind of data, we cannot go directly with the simple field terminated by comma. So we have to use some open CSV survey. Okay. So for this open CSV, so this one will use JSON survey. We use the JSON survey. So JSON survey is a Java class. JSON survey is Java class. So we have this survey in some jar is there. JSON survey jar. Okay. So I'll tell about like how to register this jar and how to use this. So this is not a default file format. Okay, because we have to use JSON survey for this. When I have a value in the comma separated in double quote. Okay, so like this, I have a data. So this kind of data I use open CSV survey. Open CSV survey. Okay, so this open CSV survey, we don't need jar. This is default is provided by the Hive. Okay. And another one is XML survey. XML survey is like my data is in the XML format. So I say EMP ID and EID clause. So like this, I have EMP. So this is one example of XML file. Like suppose I have XML file. I want to parse this XML file and I want to write the data into the table. So I am creating a table, Hive table, and I will be writing the data into the table from this file. Okay. So this is a 3 text file format data, right? That is like JSON Saturday, CSV Saturday, and XML Saturday. And apart from that, 3 other Saturday format is there. So one is ORC, Avro, and Parquet. So ORC and Parquet, these two are columnar file format. Columnar file format is faster to read because the data is a column oriented fashion, faster to read because data is stored in a column. So instead of row, it is a column oriented data format. It is column oriented data format. So whatever data is in SQL database, it's a row oriented data, and it is a column oriented format of data. So the whole row is a column. Okay. So this file format, but when you look at the table, so suppose you want to create a table, and say my Parquet table, and this is a table definition. Okay. And then you say here stored as Parquet. So when you say this one stored as Parquet, so that will save your file data in SDFS. It will save file data. In SDFS as Parquet file. The extension is the .parquet. Okay, and it is a compressed format. Parquet. It is a compressed format. Okay, so we cannot read the data. We cannot read the file. Data. Okay, but when I'm creating a table out of that, and then I do the select query, select star from my table is my Parquet. Okay, then I can see the data in the table. Okay, I can see the data. Okay, I will show all these formats. So Parquet and same like a ORC is also columnar file format. Parquet and ORC both are columnar and both are faster to read, but compressed label is higher in ORC. It's higher in ORC format rather than Parquet. Okay, both are columnar, but ORC has more compressed format. And Parquet and ORC both are supporting schema evaluation support, partially schema evaluation support. Okay, what is this partially schema evaluation support? Suppose I have a schema and I have a 3 column ID, name, city. Okay, if I want to add a new column, suppose country. Okay, so if I'm adding this column at the end of the schema, then it is allowed. Okay, so schema evaluation support means whenever you are adding a column or deleting a column, or you can say deleting a column at the end of the schema, it is allowed. So this kind of support is called a partially schema evaluation support. But suppose I say I want to add add column in the middle. Okay, in the middle or beginning. So that is not possible. Okay, because it is not fully supported. So another format is there, Avro. So Avro is fully schema evaluation support. Schema evaluation support there. It is can allow add or remove column anywhere. Okay. But it is a row oriented file format. Same like a database SQL, same as database SQL. Okay, and it is faster to write. Okay, faster to write format. Now question comes, suppose which type of file format I will go. Okay, my scenario is if I'm frequently changing schema, like my data files are coming to load the data. Suppose every day some files are coming. Some files are coming to load data into Hive table. Okay, and load data into Hive table. So like the schema is frequently changing. So which file format I should go? I should go with Avro. But suppose my requirement is I need more compressed file format data. So second scenario is like I want to more compress file format, right? Data. So if I say like 1 GB file is there in CSV, okay, 1 GB CSV, 1 GB CSV file, if is compressed and is becoming 300 MB. So this type of compression is there, compress MB, ORC file format is good. ORC file format is good when we want more compressed label. Okay, but we have choice. Either we can go for ORC and we can go for. So either one go, we can go the format. Okay. So first of all, like we have decide like Parquet is good, ORC good, Avro is good, or simple file format like JSON, CSV, or text file format good. Okay. So if I'm not concerned about what is the data in the file, so I can go with Parquet, ORC, Avro. If I'm concerned about what is the data in the file, I want to check the data also in the file. So I can go with either JSON, CSV, or XML. Okay. So we can use these kind of file format. Okay. We can use. So how to create these file format data? Okay. So suppose I have an example, like I want to create one table. Okay, first we go to create a CSV survey. So if I'm saying I have a create CSV survey, open CSV survey, I'm using. Okay. So open CSV survey I'm using, but it is a text file format only, but it is using the data in the double quote format. Okay, so how many columns are there? Name, gender, and age. Okay, so 3 columns are there. Okay, so first I'm starting my Hadoop start .sh. Okay. So from one table to another table also we can create. Like I'm saying here, create table test survey Parquet stored as Parquet as select name from employee. So some table is employee is there. So I'm selecting the data from employee table and creating a new table as a Parquet. Okay, Parquet format. So we'll see that whatever the file is stored in the SDFS, that will be a Parquet type. Okay, and but the table data will be the same because we are creating the table from this table. Okay. Okay. So next is
What in the above example, if we are getting data from employee table like name, we are storing in Parquet file, right? So at that time the data will be same, but it's in the Parquet format. Like it might be not.
file is stored in the SDFS. That right, everything in SDFS in Hive is files. Okay,
Yes,
because
yes.
it is file. This file could be a JSON, CSV, depend on what is the file format is used, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
format will be different, but the data is same, right?
Format means the storage of the file, because we want compressed format, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
if the I can use a CSV file as well, right? But CSV
Mm.
file taking a more space. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
only the storage is a concern, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm creating column. Eight, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay, this table is created. The file is not readable. You check, right, why it is. So only one table is created. Okay, that need a more data to load. Okay, so okay, so we can do one way is like how to populate the data in the Parquet. I can create a table, create table, table name stored as Parquet, and after that I can I can write the data like from other table. Okay, so here employee. So employee table has name. So this name we have in this yesterday Parquet. Okay, same table. Okay, if I see show create table command, table for this Parquet. So here is this is my location, right? This is my internal table location. So I copy this location, Hadoop address. So I have to use exclamation here to use Hadoop command on the Hive shell. Hadoop fs minus ls to paste the path. So it is a directory because this is a Parquet file. If I check the content of this file, Hadoop fs minus cat. This is the Parquet compressed format. Okay. So I cannot read fully the data, right? Okay. I can just make out what is the schema is there, name column is there, right? And some data also I can see here, but this is a compressed format. Okay. So this is an if I check the employee table, so if I see employee table, here is employee.txt. Employee.txt. So this employee.txt has, so employee.txt file has, you see the data will be the text data. So this data is there in employee.txt. So this employee.txt file has this data. Okay. And I have, when I created a Parquet table, so that has Parquet file format. So in the SDFS side, it will be changed. Suppose I'm going to create a Avro table. Okay. So Avro table, like I want to create Avro. So when I'm creating a Avro, so simply I have three different ways are there to create Avro. One is just create table name, Avro table name, and define the column and say stored as Avro. So whenever you say stored as Avro means the format of the table will change in your SDFS Avro. Okay. Second one is you can define the schema in the table command, right? Create table, and suppose you want to define your custom column, right? You want to say like name is a string, gender is a string, age is a string type or integer type. So you can say, okay, so you can define the schema as well, stored as Avro, and table properties you define the schema. That is the second way you can define the Avro. Okay. So if I want to create a Avro, creating a Avro table, and I load the data into Avro because Avro file I cannot make it, but I have some employee table, okay, and I will load the data into this table, like same like we did in the partition, right? We loaded data, right? So here in this Avro, if I see the location, so here whenever the data is loaded in this table, it will become Avro file format. In the SDFS side, it will maintain the Avro. Okay, so suppose I have some source table, the same command I will use as a source table, right? Okay, so I will define the source table. I say test source. Some source table I'm defining, and I'm keeping it the same column. Okay, so I will be defining row format certain. This table I will load the data, and then I will load the data. Avro file, or one more thing is there, Avro, Parquet, ORC, these files, these tables, you cannot load the data manually. You cannot use any load data command to load data from file to table. You cannot do. You can do from the table to table only you can do, or you can use basically one table you populate, and from that table too you load the data. Okay, so directly you cannot load the data in Avro file. So first you have to create some source table, and that source format survey. This will be coming row format delimited is terminated by is. So this table, I will load the data. So I will create another one file I will create. So what are the columns? Name, gender, age. Okay. Suppose this is my data. Okay, I will load this data into source table. Load data. So here is my location of the source data in the hive folder. Just underscore source and into table. Table name is test underscore source. So now I can check my data from test underscore source, and this data is there. Now this data I will load. So insert into my target table is this test survey Avro. Okay. So insert into table. Okay, suppose I want to override the data, so I will use instead of into, I will use override. Okay, so insert into by default is a append mode. So insert into table and select. I can give the field here. So if it is a partition table, it could be also. Avro table could be partition also. So you have to use partition by clause, and here you have to specify partition, which partition you are loading the data. So partition and normal table, those things will depend on your which partition you are going to load. So partition specification will come when you are loading the data into any partition table. So definitely the partition name should be specified when you are loading data into partition. So you have to specify in your command insert into table. Here is a partition column will be coming, partition and partition name, and then you will load the data. So now I check my Avro table. Let's start from test survey Avro. So same data is there. Now if I check the location of the file, okay. So if I check what is my location, this is. So here instead of employee, I'm giving test survey Avro. and there is, first I check it, ls. So there is a 0000 file is created. So this is 60_0. This is the Avro format na, the schema. Can you see here Avro schema? So this is the Avro format because schema is on the top. Okay, the schema is created on the top. Okay, so this is a generally extension is there in the Avro file .avro, but it is not creating its own extension. It is just creating a file. Okay, but generally we recognize the file using .avro. Okay, so .avro file is having the schema on the top and then data. This is the data part is there. So it is a row oriented file format. Okay, the column oriented file format is Parquet. So Avro is okay. If we test this thing, like if I want to add any column in the schema, so I can change. So there is a schema file, third way, which I'm telling you, that is directly this schema you can write in some schema file, ABSC schema. So I create a separately one schema file and then I give the location of the schema. So rather than giving hard-coded schema here, because this schema again and again need to change, right? If I'm changing it. So I can keep it schema in one particular schema file. And whenever I want to change, I should not change in the create table syntax. I will change it here in the schema file. So my schema file is referred here as a schema URL. Okay. So this schema URL will be given. So these are the different ways to create a same Avro file, Avro table, and Avro table is pointing to the Avro file in the SDFS. Okay. Okay. So now suppose I want to create a JSON file. Suppose I have a data in the JSON file and I want to load the data into JSON Survey, right? Using the JSON Survey. So what is the class name? JSON Survey class is there. So if I have a table, but JSON Survey jar we need to download. Okay, we need a one jar it. So this jar is not by default is coming with the hive. So I need to download JSON Survey jar. JSON Survey jar. And what is this package? This class selected. This is a jar. This jar I keep it in some location. Okay, if I'm keeping this jar in the lib folder, I don't need to register the jar. But if this jar I'm keeping it some other location outside, so I have to register the jar. Okay, I kept it jar here. So what is the path of jar? This my jar location. I have to register the jar, add jar, location of the jar, and then this is the jar name. Jar is added. So I need to create some JSON file because the data I have to create in the JSON format. Okay. So I take some JSON input file. Okay, so there are the some couple of JSON examples are there. Let's try this one. Okay, like I'm just reading some. This is the JSON file I created. Okay, so I'm creating a JSON file in my input location. Here I create. How many columns are there? Two. Right, two columns are there in this JSON file. So I have to create a table for this one. So I'm creating a table. But this row format Saturday I have to use this one. Okay. The location thing is, even if we don't want to create an external table, we can change the location. Otherwise, I can give some the location in SDFS. Okay. I was created. So I think this thing is working. This is working. So, so I can give next this. Okay. Oh, second column I given. Table is already there. One column. This one we created. One column. Okay, so I have to load the data. Load data in path. JSON is file into table. Because this table is this format type, then only we are able to load the data. If it is uh, JSON file, we cannot load the JSON file in the normal table. Okay, because both are, this is a JSON file and this is a JSON table. Okay, like a JSON survey table. So that is the reason we are able to load. Okay, test underscore one, select star, test underscore. So the data is coming. How many columns there in the data? Okay, only one column is coming because I created one. If I comma, if I give second column, so two columns will be there. Okay, so actually I did the mistake here. So I should create a two column, text, string, and text one comma. I say here text two, text two comma, text two is a string type. Okay, so two columns I'm creating. And location I change it. Now I load the data same way. Load data local in path test2 and file is same. Okay, now select star from test2. To what is the my file? Purchase. Oh, number. Okay, the column name should be number. So here is column name should be number. Whatever is given in the file, it should be the same. Okay. So it should be same. Then I load data, test3, select star from test3. Okay, now the data is coming from the JSON file. Okay, so this is the example of one type of JSON file. Suppose my JSON file is a complex JSON file, like my query, my table is a complex table, like I have an array type is there. So one field is a Boolean type, one field is an array type of a string, one is a double type, and one is a string. Okay, so I need to create a table and then I should be loading the data. So data is in this text file here. So this data I need to create. So here you can see here first is a true, then second is a three is a having a array of string, then double type and then string type. Okay, so I create this file. Nested .json. I okay. So first of all, I create a table. So I have to create a table. So this table I have to do some change. So what change I have to do? This row format survey. This table name I'm give test underscore nested. Simple way is like I'm creating a table, then I'm having a file and loading the file into the table. This is table created. Now I'm just loading the data. Loading the data, I have to change here the file name test underscore nested, and table name is test underscore nested. Nested. Nested.json. So nested.json is a file, and then select start test underscore nested. So this is a second example where you are getting the data in complex data type format. Okay. So one column is a string, one is a boolean, one is a double, and one is a array type. Okay. So this is the one more example of JSON type. Another example is where like here is more complex data is there, right? Array of string, map of string of array of int. So this kind of data we have to prepare, and then we can load the data. And if I want to access the data, this is a complex data type I told. If array is there, I can directly access with the index because this is an array value. So array values are like this one, languages. This is an array. So if I want to access 0 means the first value. Language of one, French. Okay. So like this way, it will read the data. If I have a map, so I have to use the key value pair. So in the key value pair, like religion is a map. And here is a string is a key and array of int is a value. So here is the example, Catholic is a reason and there is a 10, 20 is a values, array of integer. Okay. So like another religion, and then this is the int of values, array of values in type. So this one is a examples of the map. Okay. Example of the nested JSON. So how many types of surveys we cover? One is okay. So one is a open CSV. So open CSV survey is when the data is a comma separated format. Like this data you can read in the table by using the open CSV survey. Okay. So this is a one example. Okay. So that is like we will create a open CSV survey class, open CSV survey type table, and then we will load data command, load data into table name, and then we can do select star from table. So this is a one example. Okay. Another one is a JSON file. So I showed three JSON files. Okay. So we have to use JSON survey class in our create table syntax, create table command, and then we have to load data into JSON survey table. Okay. JSON survey table. And then we do the select star from table. And Parquet and Avro and ORC. Okay, these are the table you have to create, Avro and ORC. So these type of tables you have to create stored as either Parquet or Avro or ORC. So first you have to do create table and table structure, and then you do stored as Parquet, ORC or Avro, whatever format you want. Okay. And then you load the data from some other table. Then you do insert into table. So insert into your Parquet table or Avro table or ORC table. Then select command, you will do some source table. Select star from source table. Okay. So here is a difference. Like here you are loading the data from files. Even table also you can do. Okay. Because these are common for both. Okay. And but if you are using Parquet ORC Avro, they cannot load the data from file. They will take the data from table and convert into SDFS in different file format, whatever file format you are storing. Okay. I'm giving this notes and I'll give you the command, all commands. Okay, so you can practice for Avro, JSON, CSV, Parquet. Okay, and these all command you can practice. Anyone has any question? I will upload the video. Okay, and I will share this links and command.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.